So the solution is ninja skills. You're just gonna G-lock triple kill these guys, and then I won't have to worry about them either because they're all dead, just like everyone else who tried to stop me. Hello, I am Aoyalaipe, and I like to hop into top tier matches in War Thunder and then personally kill the entire enemy team by myself. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so first things first, the MiG-29 is absolutely gorgeous, like the best looking plane in the game, and that's largely because you can put this skin on it, and I'll link the download for it in the description. You can modify it to fit onto any MiG-29 variant in the game. Okay, so we had a new update a few days ago. It's about as generic as War Thunder updates get. You know, Gaijin added a few new planes that work, more or less the same as all the other planes. There's a new American Premium, and of course, something with AIM-9Ms has been criminally undertiered as usual. The new American Premium is very similar to the FRS-1 that I already covered last week, so feel free to watch that video. I'll link at the end of this one if you want to see how to fly the new plane. The only real surprise was that the MiG-29 SMT got buffed. Again. Actually, all the MiG-29s and the Su-27s, they all got buffed, so let's go on an outrageous killing spree with this thing, shall we? I actually filmed this match right before the update, so this is pre-buff. So let me show you how this plane worked, and then you'll realize how awesome the buff is and how this is like an even better plane now. I'm sure that dozens of people I'm about to kill with this thing would totally agree that this plane needed a buff. But honestly, if Gaijin was ever going to make a plane overpowered, it should be the MiG-29, because then I get to stare at this thing all day. It's such a good looking plane. So before the Fox 3 update, the basic strength of Russian top tier jets were that they had the best long range semi-active homing radar missiles. You know, Fox 1s, old Fox 1s. You know, the R-27ER is a really good Fox 1 missile. So those jets dominated long range. Meanwhile, American jets with AIM-9Ms dominated the short to medium range fights. That meant that the MiG-29 and Su-27 were absolutely loved by arcade squadrons because they could play a crucial supporting role. But it was kind of hard for me to play a supporting role because I would just hop into matches solo and then kill everyone by myself. And as it turns out, the MiG-29 was a terrible plane to do that with, which is a shame because it looks so good. I want to look at something like this all day. Or it was a terrible plane to do that with until the Fox 3 update. With the Fox 3 update, every plane got good long-range firepower. You know, having R-27ERs doesn't really matter that much if everyone has spam rams. But the Russian Fox 3 missile, the R-77, was relatively good at a close-range fight. Plus, the MiG-29 is really nimble. It's agile enough that it can reliably use agility to dodge Fox 3 missiles at close range. Most planes can't do that. Also, it's extremely good at bobbing, weaving through hills, canyons, and terrain. So in other words, the dynamic got totally flipped on its head. So now the Russian jets have an advantage in short and medium range engagements. Now instead of a MiG-29 having to worry about an F-16 hiding behind a rock with AIM-9Ms, the F-16 needs to worry about a MiG-29 hiding behind a rock with R-77. Not that there are many rocks to hide behind on this map, but you get the idea. And if you aren't sure how to hide behind a rock, it's pretty simple. You find a rock, you hide behind it, and then they can't see you, and then you kill them. Please see any video I've ever made featuring a mounted map for more details. Oh, and yes, as you can see here, the MiG-29 is also really, really fast, so it can still use cold flying to avoid Fox 3s. This is a really good plane. I am shocked it's still 13.3, especially with the recent buff, which I promise I'll get to in just a minute. Now, at the time I filmed this, the bottleneck for the MiG-21 was that the HMS range was only 10 kilometers. On most other jets, it was 19 or 20. Now, if you're playing realistic, this is an inconvenience, but if you're playing arcade, this is a serious disadvantage. This is like the main disadvantage of this plane. So you can reliably hit targets with Fox 3s from about 12 to 14 kilometers away in arcade. You can of course hit them from further away, but you generally need some like special factors to line up. But if you're just generally shooting people who are flying towards you, that's about as far as you can get them. But let me pause that thought for just a quick second, because I'm about to face the single strongest enemy in War Thunder. The ground. Yep, I screwed up a split S and flew into a tree. I guess it was more of like a quarter S. Like 2/5 of an S. Okay, so now that I've proved that I can kill myself, let's pop a backup and see if the enemy team can kill me. And spoiler, the answer is no. I'm going to be the main threat to myself and to others this match. So anyways, as I was saying, the reason that the range on HMS matters a lot in arcade is because it gives you a no-fuss way to lock onto targets. And having a no-fuss way to use your radar is really important in arcade. This is because the main bottleneck to doing well with any plane, especially in the Fox 3 tier, is your situation awareness, is your attention span. Even if you know the radar well, fiddling with radar settings does require at least some of your attention. That is something you cannot spare in a Rank 8 Air arcade match where you have a million Fox 3s flying around. Anything that gives you less to think about is basically going to be a direct buff to you as a player. So with a limited HMS, you basically have to choose between your attention span and your max range. Most planes don't need to do that, the MiG-29 does, and in practice this winds up being the main downside of the plane. And of those two choices, as you've probably seen this video so far, I choose the attention span. I can live with a slightly shorter range missile. I can't live when, you know, I don't know what's going on and there's 100 Fox 3s in the air because it's arcade. If there's a target that's 12 kilometers away, I'm closing to 10 kilometers and shooting him, rather than changing radar settings and shooting him from 12. Now, you want to know what got changed in the most recent update? HMS got pushed out to 20 kilometers on this thing in the Su-27. Like, that's the main thing I had to plan around when playing this thing, and now I don't have to do that anymore. This plane effectively has no real downsides. It's just really, really good now. But I still really wanted to show you how getting less out of your systems can be a really important trade-off that you want to make in this game. Because remember, any plane flown by a bad player is a bad plane. And if you can't pay attention, you're a bad player. Meanwhile, if I take a really good plane like the MiG-29 SMT and fly it in such a way where I only get like 90% out of what the plane can do, but it's really easy to pay attention, then I can fly around killing everyone and no one can stop me. Except myself if I fly into a tree. But in my defense, that tree did just jump out of nowhere. It was ambushed by a tree. It was really unfair. Totally not a skill issue at all. But the ability to do more with less fuss, or do the same amount with less fuss, is why the Iranian F-14A is really good. Well, one of two reasons. The second reason is that the 4 cores are way better than the Phoenixes. The Iranian F-14 is a lot less fussy than the Tech Tree F-14. So it's a lot easier to fly it in a way where it is very effective and still keep track of everything that's going on around you. This is what tends to trip a lot of people up about War Thunder in general and arcade in particular, which is that the way that like the wiki is going to tell you how to fly the plane differs from how you actually practically want to use it sometimes. It's not about learning the systems or ignoring the systems, it's about learning the systems well enough to know which ones are worth using when and which ones you should ignore because they're too much work when there's a lot going on. Okay, so with that out of the way, I'm going to narrate the rest of this match because the enemy team is going to start trying really, really, really hard to kill me in a minute or two, and they won't do it. They won't get me. I'm just going to kill them all and repeat and get away with it, and sucks for them. Okay, so first things first, this plane is fast enough that if I just run straight away from everyone, it's going to be really hard for them to kill me, so of course I'm going to be doing that while I'm reloading and vulnerable. Now, even though this is a flat map, there still is some terrain. It might be relatively shallow, but I can hide in that canyon, and no one's really going to be able to angle a missile in to get me. And I can also bob and weave around these shallow hills on the side of the map to make it even harder to kill me as I close the gap and get within range to kill them all again. Missiles do not go through mountains or hills. It doesn't really matter how big the hill is, it matters if the hill is between you and the missile. If it is, the missile ain't gonna hit you. Now, when I pop out to kill these guys, I have a whole bunch of advantages sitting in my pocket. The first is that I have better cover. The only cover that this F-16 here has is the canyon, but the canyon is parallel to my line of fire, so I can just fire right down the canyon and kill him. It doesn't provide him cover because of the angle. I mean, if he even exercised that option, which he couldn't, so he died. So now we got another F-16 here that's coming to kill me. I'm going to have to kill him. But in a second, you're going to see an A-10 pop up right in front of me, and the guy's sitting on a runway. And I'm going to want to kill him because I want to kill everyone. My initial plan was to make a short-range R-77 shot on the A-10 and a long-range R-77 shot on the F-16. But I can't get a good radar lock on the A-10, so I go to plan B, which is shoot 2 R-77s at the F-16 and then gun kill the A-10. So the reason I was doing that was you can sometimes get a radar lock on a target that's on the ground and shoot a missile at him. It's very finicky though, and if I shot a radar missile at the A-10 while he was on the ground, and then I shot another radar missile, another R-77 at the F-16 from 10 kilometers away at max range, I would be able to turn around and fly away and escape and reload, and neither of them would have a chance to shoot me back, so it was a very low-risk way to engage. But I couldn't get a radar lock on the A-10, so I just shot the F-16 with 2 R-77s to make extra sure he was dead, then I Gug killed the A-10, and then I didn't have to worry about them, and the reason why is because they blew up. So now I'm in a bit of a really tricky spot, because most of my team has died because they weren't very good. That's why I'm getting all these kills, there's not much competition. And I'm now being chased by 3 enemy players who are really hell-bent on getting revenge. War Thunder players will do this when you kill them on repeat. They really want to, kill you back. If you're alone 3v1 on a flat map, it's going to be very difficult to use any of the kill chain stuff I talked about in my Fox 3 survival guide, and I can't set them up to be killed by my teammates because my teammates are dead. So the solution is ninja skills. You're just going to G-lock triple kill these guys. And now I don't have to worry about them because they're all dead too. I mean, to be fair, you do sometimes actually have to dogfight people in this game, whether you like it or not. Now, despite me killing 24 enemy players, my team has managed to lose, because that sometimes happens in domination matches. Oh, well, at least I got away with killing all of those people. And in a second, a link will pop up somewhere to view my FRS 1 video from last week. And for the last time, no, I did not do the accent. I brought in a British guy to do the accent for me. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and comment to feed the algorithm, and if you subscribe and ring the bell, you won't need to remember how to spell Yoyolipe next time you want to watch one of my videos.